Okay, we are live. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our 83rd episode of the Security Podcast on the In30 Network. Tom is defining this as Hacker Christmas. Apparently, something great happened, and people and hacking and more hacking and stuff.
Yes, yeah. So if you've been paying attention to the news, and by news I mean not really news because it hasn't hit most mainstream news yet. There is a group of people called Hacking Team, and they were just completely and utterly hacked. Now, we usually talk about security breaches on this show. We usually talk about all the things they did wrong, and it's a shame, and hopefully those evil criminals are caught. And this time around, we're going to do something different, and we are going to celebrate. We're going to pop a bottle of champagne, and we're going to thank the kind hackers who spilled this company's details. This is indeed Hacker Christmas, and we will tell you why on this week's episode of Security in 30. See, we can use that sound clip right there. That'll be our commercial.
There we go. But, okay, so what is Hacker Team? I mean, it's a horrible name. It's not like anonymous or anything.
Yeah.
It sounds like they need some good PR right there.
They're definitely going to need some good PR after this. So Hacking Team is a company out of Italy. What they do is they create and develop surveillance software, zero-day exploits, and general bad, nasty spying tools, and they sell them to law enforcement and government customers. Now, this has been going on for a while. They've been on several, enemy of the internet lists. They've been on several human rights organizations watch lists of bad, evil groups of people. They're generally bad guys all around, but when questioned, and they've been questioned several times about this, they even have a page on their website detailing it. They said, hey, look, we only sell to legitimate countries, right? We don't sell to anyone sanctioned by NATO or these other groups. We don't sell to authoritarian regimes. We're not giving this stuff to dictators. So, yeah, good on us. We're only playing ball with the good guys. There was no proof either way, but everyone kind of had a sneaking suspicion. So the heat was let off for just a little bit until yesterday, or I guess about 2 days ago, when a 400 gigabyte torrent file popped up on the net, along with a tweet. And let me grab this tweet because this is gold. And I apologize. I've got so many things I want to talk about. I have to flip through a bunch of tabs. The Hacking Team, the Hacking Team Twitter account, their official Twitter account, posted this tweet. Since we have nothing to hide, we're publishing all of our emails, files, and source code with a link to Mega and then a link to a torrent file. Absolutely beautiful. Of course, the company themselves did not post this at all. No, this was the hacker that got their Twitter credentials and decided, Snowden was actually a really nice guy when he decided to nicely package up the NSA stuff and hand it to a legitimate journalist.
You're saying a couple things here. You're saying, first off, the hacker got everything. And you probably know that there was probably back and forth saying, I'm going to release this and you can't stop me.
I don't think so.
Oh, you just think that but they released and then said they were sorry?
No. The hacker has not said he's sorry. They're sorry. They haven't said anything except, and we'll get to this later. They said, yeah, I was behind another famous attack.
Okay.
But this person is anonymous, as much as we know.
So they did that. They posted it up. And I did see a tweet that basically said exactly what you were saying. Now let's thank Snowden for having proper disclosure and proper techniques. Basically, Snowden did everything perfectly in this case.
Right.
Because he said, here you go. I can't do anything. It's in your hands. Be responsible. Compared to, here's a 400 gigabyte torrent file. Go have fun.
Yeah, in the minute detail, yes, This was an external breach. This was a hack. This was someone breaking into someone else's computer network, dumping all of their data, grabbing everything, and then releasing it to the world, right? We usually talk about this as a bad thing. How it's working out ethically and morally, and we'll get to why this is in a moment. It's basically whistleblowing from a guy in the outside, right? So Snowden, if you think Snowden was rash in taking the NSA's documentation, combing through it, and giving it to Greenwald and Der Spiegel and the couple other news organizations he gave it to, no, that's the nice way to do what just happened here, right? The alternative is, hey, here's a 400 gig torrent file, just blast it onto the net. Everyone can have it. No redactions, no censoring, no retracting information. It's all right there. It's a beautiful blast of information, and this will take a while to go through. This will probably take months to go through, if not longer.
I heard about this as it happened, but I didn't think anything of it. I said, oh, this is probably some security researcher. I'm not going to be able to parse all this. I'll let Tom do it. Let the internet go through, tell me what it is. But as it's coming out, there's a lot of people are actually looking through this and finding out everything they can. And there's a lot of gems in there.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of gems.
There is so much in here. And it's 400 gigs. I mean, a lot of this is computer code. And computer code, teeny, tiny files, right? I mean, you know code. I know code. They're really tiny files. Imagine how much code you get into a gig, let alone 400.
You've never programmed in Java.
Well,
you didn't do import java.star.star.
Well, my jar file is about 6 gigs. So, no, but, these guys, there's a lot of code in here. There's a lot of emails. It took Outlook stores his email in PST files. It's just blasted out PST files everywhere. Contracts, negotiations, images, instant message logs, you name it, it's in there. It's a dump of, not only do they have like their entire file server, they have their old file server. This hack was going on for a very long time. Just to exfiltrate, half a terabyte of data will take a long time depending on the network. So let's get into why. Why is this a good thing? Why aren't we talking about this like we talked about Target or Home Depot? Why is this actually a good thing for everyone? Well, turns out these guys were the bad guys. They were developing exploits, and that's not a bad thing. Good guys develop exploits and report it to the companies, or responsibly disclose them, use them in bug bounties, use it for pwn to own. Creating a development is not a bad thing in and of itself. Creating exploits and selling those exploits in a kit to Sudan, to Egypt, to Syria, to other oppressive regimes that want to spy on their people and, throw bloggers in jail, torture people, who knows what, all of the horrible stuff that happens in the world. That's morally reprehensible. That makes you a bad guy. If you were just selling this to the Department of Defense and the DEA, I don't think you're a good guy, but that doesn't mean you're a bad guy, right? I've got very strong opinions when it comes to law enforcement, especially here in the United States. But when you're selling to known dictatorships and you're selling surveillance tools and equipment to known dictatorships, it squarely puts you in the bad guy side of morality.
I mean, this has to be worse than the NSA coming and saying, "Here, put backdoors into your software."
Right, because at least we would hope that what would happen if the NSA decided to, I don't know, snoop on everyone doing everything, that we would have a court system in place to try to protect us, or at least there's some process before they throw us into a room and beat us with billy clubs, right? We would hope that we would have some sort of, I don't know, due process before we're incarcerated for the rest of our lives. Not so in authoritarian regimes, right? you're a blogger, you say something, you're anonymous on the internet, right? You think you're anonymous. You're going through your ISP. Maybe you're even posting under a pseudonym. Good stuff like that. And hacking team sells the government these devices that they can install into ISPs and watch all the traffic going through and pick you out. And secret police come by and you never see your friends or family again.
Well, the sad part is this is a private organization too. This is not.
This is a company in Italy.
And yeah, it's a company in Italy it's not, like we said, you're not being spied on by the government. You're being spied on by a private company selling their information to the government. So they have this, and who knows what else they're doing with it. Are they selling it to other governments?
Yeah. Oh, they're selling it to everyone. And we, again, still going through the data. I'm about halfway done downloading this giant torrent. So I will be going through the data as well. I actually had to clean off a hard drive to store this stuff. So it's not just ISP equipment, right? These are 0 days. These are 0 days for mobile devices, right? They've got essentially iPhone spyware. Now, your iPhone has to be jailbroken, but if it's jailbroken, they can install spyware on it. Lots of different types of Android malware. Lots of, believe it or not, they had some Linux spyware in there, some Unix spyware that could grab stuff from servers, store it, ship it off places. Tons of Windows stuff, tons of Flash stuff, tons of Java stuff, lots of really big exploits that actually a vulnerability for Flash just came out because of this news, just came out today because of this leak. So all their fun tools that they rolled up and sold to people for millions of dollars are going to be very useless very soon. This leak, this hack, essentially put these guys out of business. And that's going to be the least of their worries, because I believe, I am not an expert on Italian law, but I'm pretty sure that if you sell computerized weaponry to Sudan, you go to jail, right?
Well, who wants to? Remember, they're in Italy, so I'm sure in Italy you do get some sort of fair trial. Again, it's not a dictatorship.
Right?
So
no. I am not suggesting these guys should, be hung or firing squad or anything else. I would like them to sit in a jail cell and rot for a very long time.
Well, what I'm trying to get at is, I don't know if they were selling to Italy, against Italy, whatever it is. If they were smart, they wouldn't sell against Italy, because that would make them traitors, and that actually, I think in the U.S. you get the death penalty for it.
If they convict you for treason, that's one of the things they could throw on you.
But so if they're in Italy and the Italians have to say, you know what, it's going to come out if they were doing work for Italy. So I have a feeling.
Oh, they have sold to Italy. They've sold a lot to Mexico. They've, again, sold to certain departments within the U.S., not the NSA specifically, not that was named. The FBI, definitely. DEA, definitely. Department of Defense, oh yeah, definitely. So a lot of our tax dollars were going over there.
As a tax-paying citizen, I'm upset that we couldn't share this. So we're giving this Italian group, so not made in America, money by two different government agencies when we could have easily done this ourselves.
I know, right? What happened to American ingenuity?
I mean, why do we have to give it to the Italians?
So these guys were doing a lot of things correctly and a lot of things incorrectly. Some things they were doing correctly include, to develop iOS-based malware, you should probably have an iOS Enterprise Developer Cert, which they did have, which is now public, which should be revoked here pretty soon. I don't imagine that Tim Cook is going to keep the cert in their database for much longer. They had lots of code signing certificates. There was some stuff they did that was really lazy and dumb, like putting together programs where they don't sanitize their input, right? They had security flaws in their own applications. And not only security flaws, a password list from a great TXT file, because that's where everyone should store their passwords, right? In passwords.txt. Passwords such as, a capital PASSW0RD exclamation point 81. There's a lot of those going down this list. There's a lot of just using the word password with, a number switched for a letter in here. Really lazy, really awful stuff. This is why they got hacked, right? Because they can develop the exploits, they can sell the exploits, but they can't guard against the exploits.
Well, they have the whole big company mentality. The secretary, the HR person, is not going to use two-factor, and you have the weakest link, which is a human error.
Yeah. And all of their Git code, all of their Git repositories, that means their source code, including the version history, has been leaked. Some of that stuff is hitting GitHub. Some of it is still in the dump and is being grabbed. It's pretty fantastic. So who did this? Why did they do this?
Let's do an ad for your thing on Saturday.
Oh, I totally forgot. I should be fired. Okay. Down here, right there on my profile where it says OISF, I'm on the board for a Dayton, Ohio-based group called the Ohio InfoSec Forum. We are having this Saturday, that would be July 11th, we are having a security conference. It's one day, lots of great speakers, breakfast and lunch provided. There will be cake. Again, there will be cake. So you should come and eat cake. So July 11th, go to ohioinfosec.org for all the details. It's $10 to get in the door, and our PayPal link is up there. No cash, please. It's physical money. We're nerds. We don't like that stuff.
Well, you have a security conference that won't take cash.
Yeah, no.
We're going to route all our money through PayPal.
I tell you what, if you wanted to send me Bitcoin, I will take Bitcoin and I will pay cash to the conference. But yeah, no cash, no dirty money. Yeah, we're going to have great guys there like Dave Kennedy, Phil Grimes, also known as the Grape Ape, Dino, and I'm going to butcher his last name, Dino Saboris. He's a lawyer, and it's always an interesting talk when a lawyer talks about, computer law and crime and how that stuff fits together from a legal perspective. Honestly, one of my favorite speakers I've ever heard. He's a great guy. We've got the fantastic Ben 10 talking about Gray Hat PowerShell. That will be fantastic. Then Adrian Crenshaw, lockpicker extraordinaire and general all-around awesome guy. So he'll be there. We'll have cake and speakers and security stuff, and I hope to see you there.
And just for that, I now have to push the podcast out way earlier than next week. So hopefully by the time you hear this, it won't be Saturday. It'll be before Saturday, and you'll be able to go.
And, in the absolute worst case, I'm sure we'll have the videos up on YouTube and we'll have a link.
So, okay, back to the hard-hitting details.
So who did this, right? Who on earth decided to hacking team? Turns out it's the same guy. Do you remember back in the day? I don't know. We probably started the podcast at this time. Maybe it was a little before our time. Do you remember Finn Fisher?
I mean, was that sounds like a Snowden thing?
No, it was actually, well, it might have been. It's spyware. It's not a Snowden thing. It was spyware heavily used by the German government to spy on citizens and various targets. Okay,
no, I don't remember it.
So there was a company, they made a product called Finn Fisher for governments to spy on people. And it's actually the same guy. The same guy that took down the Finn Fisher creating company for, another company making government spyware, has decided to turn his sights to hacking team and take down yet another government lapdog. Utterly beautiful. I want to shake this guy's hand and buy him the best scotch I can afford. because he's done a great service to really the internet as a whole. Remember, Hacking Team, you can't even make the argument that they were good guys, right? They were just greedy guys. There's nothing inherently wrong with being greedy, but it caused you to make a lot of dumb decisions, like, I don't know, selling to terrorist regimes, for instance.
Look, it works. You retweeted something before. Like you said before, they're selling to Sudan, where they know that they're doing not war crimes, but they're doing bad things, and it's one of those. You got hacked. You didn't follow the right things. Now, hopefully now everyone learns from this and says, hey, maybe we don't need to sell to terrorist organizations. We can do good things. But I was going to change the subject a little bit, and now I completely forgot what I was going to say.
Well, actually, I've got a small correction. The president of Sudan is wanted for war crimes and crimes against humanity by the International Criminal Court. So not really people you want to sell to. And also,
well, basically, you're selling to people who make the moral decision on their own. So they're doing bad things, and they're making the decision on how bad it is.
Right. So, I mean, imagine these guys. They wake up, they see all this, they see they've been hacked, they see basically they're out of business, probably going to jail. Even worse than that, they have to call up the Russian secret police and say, Moscow, I'm sorry, but all those secret contracts and stuff we signed and all that money you sent us and all the support programs you were agreed to is now completely public, and everyone knows everything are bad. And then they have to hide in a bunker and hope that the Russian secret police doesn't find them.
Yeah, that must mean they must have threats out against them. I guess they have to.
Yeah, they are probably the most. Frankly, jail is going to be one of the safer places for them. They really do need protection. Some errata stuff that's fun is one of their modules was designed to find Bitcoin, Litecoin, Feathercoin, and Namecoin wallets and extract all of the funds from those. So if you were a target, you would be robbed of your Bitcoins. One big thing, I've got like the big bomb that I'm trying to save for last. I'm running through my notes right now.
It's what I saw, like I was saying before, I didn't really follow this, but The Verge picked it up. And as far as the big news organizations, I have a feeling this is going to be something in a week or two once everyone goes through everything, because this doesn't affect you or me. I mean, at least we don't think it affects you or me. This is affecting spy agencies across the world and how countries are going after each other. But they were saying that they were getting they were banning the virus definitions. So we did a story a few weeks ago where the NSA was going after the virus people, just like now we're finding out this hacker team is. They're trying to find out, so they don't get caught, how to circumvent all the hacking, all the anti-malware people. And so now hopefully Kaspersky and McAfee and Norton and all of them are gonna do things to figure it out. I think I just saw somebody just tweeted that if you're afraid that you're infected, they have portable apps of the virus scans, so you don't have to install anything. Because one of the things they were doing is they were probably neutering the virus definitions because they knew exactly how to find it.
Right. These guys were part of their build process, part of their testing process was, hey, look, government, if your citizens or if your people that you're targeting are using this version of the antivirus, and they even differentiate between the free version, the trial, and then the pro version or the unlocked version where you pay for it. And they would show, either red, yellow, or green as to whether or not you could upgrade your particular hacking suite to the latest version, because it would or wouldn't get caught. And they were aiming for, all greens across the board, that no virus scanner found them. Well, too bad. It turns out now that every virus company on the known earth has your definitions because they have your source code.
And the good part is hopefully they update these fast enough, and hopefully Microsoft puts out I guess next Tuesday's Patch Tuesday, or Tuesday was Patch Tuesday.
Yeah, every tech company, especially the big tech companies, right? Adobe is looking at this for Flash. Oracle's looking at this for Java. Microsoft is totally looking at this. The browser vendors are looking at this to see, okay, what exploits were leveraged and what do we have to protect against going forward? Because remember, this stuff is now in public. This stuff can now be used by anyone. Anyone passing by that just wants to write malware to, put CryptoLocker on your computer can use these exploits. It's gone so far as to where a Mozilla developer, the people who make Firefox, said, hey, look, if you find a Firefox vulnerability in this dump, the first person to submit that to our bug tracker gets a bug bounty. We will pay you for the exploit if you find it first. They're being really good sports about this, right? That's how you run a bug bounty. That's pretty awesome. And we're all going to be safer for it.
Oh, look, it's easier than putting engineers looking through 400 gigabytes. And if people are going to do it anyway, we might as well find it. And of course, everyone wants to be secure because now and think about what the press is going to say. We're going to get that the Chinese and the Russians are hacking us. Maybe this was the unknown source from 2 weeks ago. But maybe, who knows? But they're going to say, oh, the foreign states are all hacking us with this and that and the other thing, and they're going to scare us when, yes, we should be scared. But you know what? Now that we have the information, hopefully everyone fixes this. We update our machines, and we'll all be better for it.
So one thing, and here's where I'm going to drop the bomb, and frankly, I shouldn't have waited this long. One of the big things that was actually found, and I need to make sure this guy gets credit, Bob Costa's 5.5 on Hacker News, because that's where I saw it first. I just tweeted it out, and I got a lot of attention for it, but he discovered it, I believe. It looks like he discovered it first. And then it went all over Twitter because it wasn't exactly hard to find. There's a piece of source code. There's a piece of Ruby code in there, in one of their modules, that's called evidence. What this does isn't gathering evidence, right? Remember, the main customers of this application are law enforcement personnel. No, the evidence module actually creates trash files, what look like encrypted files with no data in them, right? No real data, but gives them really horrible file names. And if you have a weak constitution, you can end here. Just know it's a bunch of bad stuff that will land you in jail forever. But we're talking about child porn file names. One of them is fairly innocent, called bombplans.something. But this essentially plants trash evidence onto your target's computer. So if law enforcement doesn't really have anything to go on you for, they can just plant the evidence and say, oh yeah, well that guy, yeah, he's totally got kiddie porn in his computer. We should totally seize all of his stuff and throw him in jail just to be safe, right? And then claim that, well, it's an encrypted file, but he won't give us the password, right?
Because the person won't be able to decrypt it because it's probably encrypted with their encryption key.
Yeah, it's just a trash file. So this is literally used to plant evidence on people's computers. Someone was pointing out that it could be used for parallel construction for the DEA. When the DEA, and this is a known fact from the Snowden leaks, when the DEA arrested people for drug behavior or for breaking some kind of drug law, but they got the evidence from the NSA, technically that's inadmissible. Technically, that's evidence. It's fruit of the poisonous tree doctrine. It would be inadmissible in court. Their entire case would get thrown out, and they would get in trouble for illegally collecting evidence. Instead, they do this thing called parallel construction, where they make up a story about how they found it, which aligns to the real truth, right? It sort of aligns, and you can kind of make the logical leaps to get there, and it doesn't look so suspicious instead of just saying, oh, well, I had a hunch he was a massive coke dealer. So it can be used for that. It can be used to plant evidence. It can be used to just incriminate someone that you don't like. And again, it was a bundle module, and you could fire this off with one of your exploits and completely ruin someone's life.
Absolutely. With that said, we are out of time. And I'm sure next week we'll follow up with way more information than what we have now.
Yep.
So
it's going to be a lot of data to go through.
And if we have more, we may do another show later this week and push it out as soon as we can. So we'll see you guys soon.
See you guys.
Bye, everyone.